So today our sermon title is called Persistent Children. And I found this little comic. So about who's more persistent, the PTA or your toddler? Okay, so both repeatedly asks for help. Right here it says, bake sale, volunteers needed. Book fair, we need you. Seriously, sign up for something. Pretty much, if you guys have ever been a part of a school, PTA is always asking for help. PTA was asking for so much help. I know we have some people in our own community group who have no connection with a school going over there and helping. So they just need help, okay? Or your toddlers. Mom, can you get me chips? Mom, help me find the hamster. Mom, can you charge the batteries? Common thing. Both knows exactly who to contact. PTA, Karen has experience planning events. I think we have a Karen who's pretty good at planning events. This one, they know exactly who to contact. Kids, Dad, can I have another cookie? Dad! Your kids ever do that? They talk to one and like, okay, I've got the cookie for Mom, but now I can double this. I'm just going to go to Dad. Next one. Both can tap into guilt. The PTA is for your children's future. Whew, that's a good one, okay? And then this one. But Mom, I thought you loved me. Both are always trying to raise money. PTA, buy a t-shirt, buy some cookie dough, just hand us what's in your wallet right now. Pretty much that's how the PTA works, okay? And on this side, the ticket to my puppet show is $1,000,000. I think we go 1,000 millions at our house. I'm pretty much sure 40 hundred thousands or 40,000 hundreds, and it's you know. Or last one, both consume your free time. Enjoy your shift, PTA. And then this one, winner. Oh wait, first, so Mom, we've been kid, one more time. Mom, we've been playing hide and go seek for an hour now. That's enough. So who's more persistent, the PTA or your children? It's your children. Oh my goodness. Children can be some of the most persistent individuals on the planet. When they know they want something, they will stop at nothing until they get it. Oftentimes, their persistence can drive us a little nuts. There are times where you walk in the door and they hit you with whatever it is. And this is whether it's Mom coming in the door, Dad coming in the door, and they're like, I have bugged Dad or Mom to the point where they've just said no to everything. And now I'm going to go to the new person. And they'll hit them up for it. And sometimes it's because, there's a little sin there and they can't take no as an answer. Sometimes I'm pretty sure they legitimately forget what they just asked you 30 seconds ago. See, but they want something, and they know you can provide it, and they are determined to get it. How do you approach requests you make to God? Do you treat your request, your prayers to God from a parental perspective or from the perspective of a child? See, a parental perspective when it comes to request is, kid comes up, asks, can I have candy? No. The end. That's a parent's perspective, okay? We just want one and done. You ask once, we never want to hear about it again for the rest of your life. Okay? So sort of a parental perspective. No. But you told me yesterday, no. Well, no again. That's a parental. We ask once, we're done. Or, so when we come and we make requests to God, we ask him one time for something we need. Hey, I need some help here. Hey, I need this. God, help me here. One time, done. Never mention it again. Or do we treat our request like a child? Constantly going to a parent because we are determined that they can help us out. And I found in my own life, I prefer the parental approach because God is omniscient. He knows everything. He knows what I'm going to pray for before I pray for it, so why do I even need to pray in the first place? If you think about it, you can get stuck in that little loophole. You can get stuck. But he wants you, exactly like he wants you to be that persistent child because he is good. He wants you to persist and to ask and to keep coming to him. He wants you to do that. He doesn't want you to take the parental approach. This one and done. He wants you to be a child going to your father because he knows that you can, because you know that he can deliver and help you out. So look at Matthew chapter 7. Look at verse 7. He says, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Feels like he's changing topics here pretty hard again. We've come across a couple of times where it seriously seems like Jesus, on a dime, has completely changed the topic about what he's talking about. Last week, we had a very good study and discussion on judgment and how you make judgments and how you think and when you should proclaim and the warnings and the variety of things there. And so it was a very good study. Now suddenly, he's talking about praying and asking. And okay, what's he talking about here? And what's really fun is if you guys look down one more verse to verse 12. Verse 12 is nicely, I think sometimes accidentally forgotten. There's a commercial by a bank or something that talks about the golden rule. Have you guys seen that? Something mutual, something. But they pretty much, it's this bank and they're saying, and they're saying, wouldn't it be great if everybody treated each other the way they would like to be treated? This is a bank thing here, and I'm like, yeah, it would be great. But this whole thing, and so a lot of times this verse 12, gets completely taken and removed out of the context of what's going on. Well, I have to tell you, verse 12 is attached, no matter what your subtitles are talking about. Because I know my subtitles like to break them apart. But I'm here, verse 12 goes with what we just studied and what we just read. So he says, will your Father, in verse 11, who is in heaven, give good things to those who ask him? So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and prophets. Jesus uses verse 12 and verse 7 as the frame where he's talking about the goodness of God and how he is good and how because he is good, this is how we should respond. And we should pray differently. And we should also live differently in light of God's goodness. So verse 12 is the end of this package. And so when we think of the golden rule now, I encourage you to think of it in the context of God's goodness. The reason why, okay? And so we're gonna be walking through this, but I wanted to frame it here first because we're talking about God's goodness. And tucked in here is a wonderful challenge and a wonderful way to look at prayer. And so let's draw out a couple points here, okay? And so this first one, our first point, the first thing I want to draw out is the fact that we have an attentive Father. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened. There are 3 commands here in this verse. Ask, seek, knock. they're in the imperative sense. You're supposed to make note. Anytime Jesus, God, specifically gives you command, you should be like, I think I should pay attention to this. Not only that, in class, if a teacher ever repeated something, it was something you should highlight, wasn't it? It was something important, probably going to be on a test. What did Jesus do from verse 7 and verse 8? He repeats himself. You guys notice this? He gives you 3 commands, and then he repeats what's going on. See, we should like highlight, star, box, circle, should be a pretty big place. So Jesus very specifically repeating himself to his disciples and to the listening. Hey, ask. Because if you ask, something's going to happen. Seek. You're going to find something. Knock, and the door is going to be open to you. And just in case you missed it, ask. For everyone who asks receives. And just in case you missed it, and the one who seeks finds. And just in case you missed it, to the one who knocks, it will be opened. You guys got it? Ask and you'll be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and the doors are going to be open to you. Just recite that over your head over and over and over and over and over again. It's important. Repetition in the Bible is a very, very, very big deal. So Jesus here, he's talking about the Father, and we find this out, in the next couple verses, and he wants to tell his disciples, hey, I want you to know that you guys can ask. And the Father will listen, and he is going to give it to you. Some are like, sweet, I'm just going to ask for a Corvette. Just like any loving parent, sometimes what's best for the kid is not what they think is what is best. But I can say, if you ask God, he will answer you. He's going to listen to you. As you seek something, it's not going to be hidden forever. God will show it to you. And lastly, if we knock, we know that the door is going to be opened. In Luke chapter 11, verses 5 through 10, if you guys want to turn that real quick, we'll be back here in Matthew. But this is one of these sister passages of the same thing that Jesus said. And I want to bring this out for 2 reasons. One, a lot of times when we view some of the stuff in Bible, we can act like Jesus only said Matthew 5 through 7, chapters 5 through 7, one time, and he never repeated himself. And I think these were very common messages that he preached over and over and over again to a variety of people. And here we have an account of Jesus expounding on this same thing here in Matthew chapter 11. Verse 5 through 10, and so Jesus said to them, which of you has a friend will go to him at midnight and say, friend, lend me 3 loaves, for a friend of mine has arrived on a journey, and I have nothing to set before him. It's pretty much Jesus is like, how many of you guys will go next door and say, hey, I'm out of butter. Can I have some butter? I need 2 eggs. 2 eggs. And I do not want to go to the grocery store. Do you have 2 eggs? Do you have some salt? What else do you guys ask for? Gas, all sorts of things. But yeah, I go to my neighbor and ask for the leaf blower. That's what I do, okay? And so, how many of you guys would go about this? And so, it's the middle. You have friends who have arrived on a late journey. They haven't eaten for a while, and you're like, oh no, we don't have any dinner made. And he's like, you go over next door. Hey, do you have a loaf of bread? Just to feed them? So he sort of sets this up in our minds. And in verse 7, and he will answer from within, do not bother me. The door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot get up and give you anything. How many of you guys have the drop and roll tactic when somebody comes to the door? Like Nikki and I used to do that, So, depending on her, it's just the Girl Scout cookies. Maybe if we just keep it down, they won't know we're here. We can't do that now with the girls. Mom, the doorbell! It's like if you have dogs, as soon as you knock, you can't well, I didn't hear you. Give me a break. You can't say that, but that's the response. You try to hide, and you try to go, and he says, how many of you guys are is really your friend gonna say, don't bother me, the door's now shut, I'm not gonna give you anything? He says, I tell you, though he will not get up and give him anything because he's his friend, yet because of his impudence, he will rise and get him whatever you need. Yeah, what do you need, some bread? Fine. Yeah. Just to get him to shut up, just to get him to leave us alone and stop knocking at the door. Oh, you'll do it. And even if you don't want to, if someone seriously has the gumption to go over next door and ask you for an egg, you're going to get an egg, right? I mean, because how awkward would that be? Yeah, I just bought some eggs, and no, you don't get any of them. May God have mercy on your soul, and you just dismiss him upon his way and go. I mean, eat, drink, be merry. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. You're going to give him the egg. And he says in verse 9, so this is sort of the imagery he's creating here with the knocking on the door. And he says, verse 9, and I tell you, ask, and it's going to be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks, it will be opened. And I'm telling you, our Heavenly Father is never too busy to not open the door for us. He's going to listen to us. It is a promise. When we ask for answers, he will give us answers. When we seek, he will let us find it. And when we knock, he's going to open the door, even if you pray to him at 2 o'clock in the morning. I used to think it was sort of bad. Like, if you're praying, and have you ever fallen asleep while you're praying? You know, maybe it's just like you wake up at 2 and something's been on your mind and you're trying to pray and you're asleep. Is that bad? Is that sin? And we've got to think of it from the standpoint of a child. You know, it's one of the cutest, sweetest things. It's when your kid gets up and snuggles up with you. She'll say a couple things. Petra likes to do it when I'm playing my little Mario game on my little device, and she'll snuggle up and she'll say Mario, and eventually she doesn't really not coherent, and then she's out. She can do that all day and never, ever, ever grow up. That's the idea here. Ask. He'll give you answers. Seek. He will help you find it. Knock. And he's never too busy to answer to you. He's never too busy. There's also a sort of a progression of this. Like, you know, when you ask, it's sort of like a more casual feel. And then when you seek, have you ever tried looking for your clothes or your keys? And it's a little more, a little more in depth. You got to go and you're trying to find something. And the knocking, I mean, when you're going over to someone's house and knocking on the door, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, I bring my army of children with me, so it doesn't look like I'm this scary man knocking at the door. Because bad guys knock. And so that's it. And so knocking on the door is a big deal. It's actually sort of stepping into their safe space, their place of comfort, and here you are invading it. So he says Jesus wants you to ask God, hey, can you do this for me? I need this. I want answers. I don't understand this. And he doesn't want you to just do it one time. He wants you to keep asking until you get an answer. And when the answer finally is like, hey, no, I have better. I have better in mind for you. Okay, then find something else. But keep asking until you get an answer. God is okay with the persistent child approach. He wants you to be persistent. He wants you to keep asking. And he wants you to seek. And I mean, I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just at my house. I cannot see anything straight in front of my face. I told Nikki yesterday, I'm like, Nikki, I can't find my keys. She's like, well, where have you looked? Like the 2 places I've been. She's like, they're right here. So I guess I was at a 3rd place. I can't see it. I mean, literally, they were sitting right there. I can't see it. I always have to ask help when I'm searching for something. I can't find the milk. Did you look in the fridge? I'm staring in the fridge. Did you look about 6 inches from the ground, 3 inches to the right? What color is it? White. Oh. Okay? You got to ask for help to search for something. God wants you to ask. And he wants you to keep asking until they help you. Okay? See, adults get tired of it. I can only ask Nikki to help me look for something about twice a day. I think that's her limit. She's like, forget it. You're on your own now. I can't find that. Okay, but God is like, keep asking until somebody comes and helps you find something. Keep at it. Seek. God, why is this happening to me? What is going on? Why am I struggling so much? Lord, I need some answers. I need some help and some proof of what's happening. Seeking that out. And then knocking. There's nothing more obnoxious than a kid doing this. Do you guys feel it right now? You just feel it. What do you want to do? Novella did it. Stop it. Stop it. Mom, that's what knocking does. Mom, oh my word, it's driving me nuts. Okay, it bugs you. It's going, hey, I need your help. God, hello, hey, I know you're trying to not let the countries nuke each other and everything else. I need some help. My problems, hello. And God doesn't do this. Isn't that nice? God doesn't do that. He's like, all right, hold on, Korea and America, you guys don't kill each other for a second. What is it? Oh, okay, I can help with that. Okay, he comes back over here. I mean, that is an awesome God. That'll give us the time of day. There's something, boom. Ask, seek, knock. He desires to have this with us. He wants it. Let's keep going here, okay? And now he says, so which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Second point, you're a good father. Could you imagine, I mean, the image he's created here, I mean, could you, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I need to eat. Mom, I'm hungry. Dad, I'm hungry. Here, son, here's a rock. Could you imagine if a dad really did that? Probably needs to be hit upside the head with a rock. And that's what he's creating here. You're sort of laugh, but in another way, you're sort of disgusted. Because your kid is asking, he's hungry. And kids are always hungry. They're always like, I'm hungry. Mom, I mean, just ask the Phimisters. We send our kids to the Phimisters sometimes. And they graciously say, yes, we will watch them for a little bit. We've just fed them. They will walk in the door, and the first thing they will ask them is, what do you have to eat? Always hungry. And the Phimisters don't feed them rocks, I hope. We don't feed them rocks. The idea there. Who does that? Who would ask for help and nutrition and assistance and give them a rock? Nobody. Nobody does that. Or if you ask for a fish, you give them a snake? Who does that? Nobody. That's disgusting. Shame on you. You don't give poisonous snakes to your kids. So if he says, if you then, and I love this. This is one of those really fun theological deep things. So here's Jesus. Now look at how he says this thing. If you then who are evil. Jesus straight up called everybody out there evil. Think about that. You want to talk about how Jesus viewed you? You're evil. But he still loved us. He says, if you who are evil know how to give food to someone who asks for food, and how to give fish to someone who asks, you who are evil know how to give good gifts. And you know how I know we all know how to give good gifts? Because in 2 months, there's this guy who's completely made up, who comes around to every kid's house and gives gifts. Where did he come from? We love to give gifts, and we're evil. And this is what's really cool. If we who are evil know how to do that much good for our kids, how much more will God do? Just think of that. How much more will God give us good to those who ask him? I don't know if you guys remember these. So there's these jelly beans that I tried a while back. Whoever came up with that is a sick, sick person. So these are these like bean bazoodle, whatever. Okay, they're gross. Don't correct me. This is disgusting. Okay, don't do that. See, look, you can either these yellow ones. You can either have a banana or pencil shavings, or berry blue or toothpaste, or okay. Now I am not joking here. My coworker and I did this, and I really did throw up as a result of this thing. Because you have peach or barf. I didn't get barf, my friend did. You know what I got? I bit into moldy cheese. There's canned dog foods, boogers, centipedes, rotten egg, another one. Or skunk spray. God doesn't play jelly beans, okay? When you ask God for something, he's not gonna give you barf or moldy cheese or skunk spray. He doesn't play that way. Humans are sort of sick and twisted, and we like to torture ourselves. But God doesn't. He gives us good. How much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? I think we should find some comfort in that. And so in light of this, we have what I'm calling our fatherly example, the golden rule. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and prophets. In light of God's goodness and how God helps those who pray, in light of this, treat others with that same goodness. And I guess this is nothing new. Historically, there's been a lot. Well, let me correct that. In a sense, this is nothing new, but Jesus put a very positive spin on very common, sort of a common understanding. And oftentimes, don't do to people what you don't want done to you. In history, this is how this has been generally taken. As in, don't be mean if you don't like being mean to people. But Jesus takes this and he actually puts a positive spin on it. One where it's not reactionary. It's actually a positive direction. He says, whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also for them. So think in light of good, not in bad. See, we have this line system where you have good, neutral, bad. Am I right? We all like to function in this neutral area, just sort of it. And so a lot of times when we take this command, or we can take it, we're like, okay, so I'm not supposed to be mean, but I can be neutral with them. Not really giving, not really helping, but not being mean, not being bad. You know, I know they asked for some bread, and I know I had bread to give, but I didn't say, no, you worthless, lazy person, don't eat bread. See, I was nice. I nicely let them down. So I was neutral. And God's like, no, treat people up here. Treat people the way you would like to be treated. If you know something bugs them that you keep doing, or if you know they like something, if you know they enjoy something, or there's a way you can truly minister to them, do it. As God, who sits up there and deals with persistent children, us, all day long, and God loves it because he is good, and he is attentive, and he answers, and he knows what, and this is what's another thing. So, wish, how much more? So, okay, do whatever you wish for others. That sort of has a like a forward-thinking thing. And this is what can really mess us up in regards to this. What happens if God says no? Or what happens when bad things keep happening? I mean, that's a real struggle that we have. How do we think through the goodness of God when bad stuff keeps happening here on earth? Don't get it. God knows what is good for you. I know that's hard because sometimes I think I know what's supposed to be good for me. And and that's like pretty much I make $1 million every day, all the time. Amen. I never have any problems with anybody in my church. No one ever disagrees with me. Everyone always agrees, and everyone is getting saved every single week. All the time. Okay, you can have this like real perfect thing. And God's like, yeah, Jacob, that's not good for you. One, if you were given $1 million a day, you'd probably cause World War III. Two, if everyone always agreed with you, then you would have the largest and biggest head humanly possible. Probably not good for you, Jacob, because that's going to get really big. Okay, so God knows what's best. It's a hard thing. It's a thing of trust, and it's a thing of faith, and it's a thing of just like our kids who think they need the candy right then and there. And you tell them no. They're like, but I need it. Like, no, you'll get cavities. Or you'll have a sugar high, and you'll jump through a window. It's not good. It's not good for you. And then they get really mad at you. And they guilt trip you. And they say you don't love them. But the fact is you do, don't you? Because you have a little better understanding. So as a father with a kid, as a mother with a kid, you know what's better for that child. Despite the infinite knowledge that teenagers have, you have a little better idea. And it's because you've been around for a while. God's been around since the beginning. He sees all, he knows every possibility, and he has promised that he is good, and he will listen to us. We can trust him. And it's not easy. It can get pretty challenging, but we can trust him. So how do you approach the request you make to God? Do you treat them as, like from a parental perspective, or the perspective of a child? And what we've seen is a successful prayer life is based upon the goodness of God. And it's possible maybe we don't pray as much as we should because we don't keep in our minds how good God is. And so because he is good, we can seek him constantly for an answer. And because he is good, we can ask him anything we want. And because he is good, we can knock on his door any time of the night with requests. And he is good, and he will give us answers. So in light of his goodness, we should pray. And in light of God's goodness, we should treat others like he has